What's going on, guys? You're going to notice something different here because, of course, I'm wearing the headset. And that is because I am bringing back, at least for this instance, I'm not sure that this is going to be a return to what we had been doing in the past, but we are bringing back for this very special event that has happened, an old chestnut called Podcast Revived. If you remember, this is the show where myself and my wife, Jessie, talk about gaming, tech, and so forth. And I thought it was nothing but appropriate to bring that back for this absolutely massive event in the world of gaming. Of course, we're going to be talking about the fact that Microsoft is purchasing Activision-Blizzard. There is so much to talk about on this subject. At first, I thought maybe I would do a series of videos. Then I thought maybe I'll do an impromptu live stream and just talk it out. And I thought, no. It makes much more sense to just do this as a podcast with my wife here to help me kind of ping ideas back and forth. This might be a little long-winded. There's a lot to cover. We're going to get into it right about now. So, welcome back to the podcast. Jessie, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Are you excited about this? Like, I texted you this earlier today that Microsoft had bought. Can you just tell me, what was your initial reaction to reading this? I feel like I'm still processing this insanity.
So at first I read it and I was like, and then like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, that's actually insane. This is huge news. Microsoft is really trying hard to get all the gamers, I think, invested in their company, and just seeing the past year or two how much they're devoting their company towards that. Like, I'm excited. I don't play any of those games, but like that's exciting for me because I feel like Game Pass is something that I'll never be rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what else that who knows what else they might decide to do. Maybe we'll have a world where every game we want to play is on Game Pass. So I'm getting pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's such a crazy story. So if you somehow don't know what we're talking about here, we're going to do a little bit of picture-in-picture magic here, even on this podcast. Microsoft is, in fact, I mean, it's just happening. Like, it's not like, oh, it's in the works or whatever. Like, it's happening. Microsoft is going to acquire Activision-Blizzard for the paltry sum of $68 billion. Like, first off, just wrap your head around $68 billion freaking dollars. Like, do you remember when they bought Bethesda, like a year ago or something like that? It was like $7.5 billion, I think. And everybody was like, oh my God, $7.5 billion to buy Bethesda. I got a tweet here from Brad Sams on Twitter, who's a great YouTuber, and he does a lot of other stuff too, but he tweeted this, and I thought this was hilarious. $68.7 billion is equivalent to 27 Minecrafts, because of course Microsoft bought Minecraft some time ago, 27 okay. Minecrafts, 9 Bethesdas. They bought LinkedIn a long time ago, and that was a huge purchase, huge sum of money. 2.6 LinkedIns, 8 Skypes, the annual gross domestic profit of Luxembourg.
Okay.
Or he didn't put commas here, so we're going to say 687 billion Xbox mini fridge units. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. So Microsoft is acquiring Activision-Blizzard. Of course, if you don't know, here's an image on screen here. Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty, that little shooter you might have heard of, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft. You know how, like, on your Windows, when you first install Windows, on your start menu, you'll see like a link to Candy Crush from the story that was always there. Well, that's not bloatware now because they now own Candy Crush. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that Candy Crush was owned by Activision Blizzard, but apparently it is. And then StarCraft. And of course, there's more than this even, like Hearthstone and things like that. But now Microsoft effectively owns all of these franchises, in addition to all the franchises that they've already purchased.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I'm like, part of me is like, where do I even begin with this? I guess the first place that we need to begin is with this. So when a purchase like this happens, it isn't like just you don't go to the Activision store and buy it and go home with it, right? Like it takes time, right? So Microsoft and Activision are expecting this deal to be finalized somewhere between June 2022 and July of 2023. This is going to take some time. This isn't an immediate right now thing. Keep in mind that just like when they bought Bethesda, this has to be approved to make sure that effectively that Microsoft doesn't now have a monopoly on the gaming world, which I think it's actually pretty easy to argue that they don't. Yeah. This is a bit here from Windows Central, and I think that let's see here. Basically, I don't see where they wrote this. Maybe I've misplaced this article, but basically, it would put them, as far as revenue, in third place behind Tencent, which is hysterical to me, the Tencent, isn't it? Because most people in America don't even know who Tencent is, but they're massive in China. Sony, and that would put them at number 3 now.
Yeah.
In terms of overall revenue. I believe that's correct. I'm pretty sure I read that earlier. But basically, the idea is that like they would not have anything that would constitute a monopoly. Like it's going to take time to get approved, but there's no reason to think that it will not get approved. So
I haven't really thought about it that way. I mean, I was sitting there thinking like, what don't they own? But I never really thought about them like having to go through that process, that someone's like monitoring that. Like there's a group of people that are like, you can't own all the games.
Oh, for sure.
I guess that makes sense, but like I've just never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, and I found the quote here. If I show a link here, I'll put it down in the description down there below that handy dandy like button. But as it says here, even with the acquisition, Xbox still being third on the list for gaming revenue, Sony and Tencent are both still ahead of Microsoft, even with the combined revenues of Activision-Blizzard, and then King is kind of wrapped up into that too. So it's unlikely regulators will step in to prevent Microsoft from being third place. So yeah, it's big, but it doesn't suddenly leapfrog them into the position of being the biggest gaming company on the planet. So getting that out of the way. It's going to happen, but it's going to take time. Why would Microsoft spend $70 billion to buy Activision Blizzard? And I think it comes down to Game Pass. I mean, obviously, it's Game Pass. Yeah. Just recently, Microsoft reported that there are 25 million subscribers to Game Pass already, right? Which is not an insignificant amount of people at all. And you figure what is Game Pass? It's like $15, $10. I think PC with streaming, I think it's $15, and maybe it's $10 if it's standard. Whatever. Let's just say it's $10. $10 times 25 million. That's their monthly intake. Now you got to subtract from that the overhead of running Game Pass and getting those games on board, right? Because they have third-party deals to get those games, on there. But still, that's a lot of money, right? And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to drive people to get Game Pass. And I mean, right now, think about in 6 months when, Overwatch is on Game Pass, Diablo is on Game Pass, the next Call of Duty will be on Game Pass. Like, that's free. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, these are huge tentpole games that will just be on Game Pass for you to access now for $15, $10 a month. Okay, so let's take a second and let's stop on one here. Let's pause on Call of Duty because that's a big one, and a lot of people are talking about this. Microsoft now owns Call of Duty, which despite all of its problems, it's still the biggest shooter on the planet. Okay? So now Microsoft just owns that. So the first thing, my first thought was, I was like, how fucking crazy would it be if the next Call of Duty comes out and Microsoft is like, sorry, Sony, you don't get this one. You're done. You're done with Call of Duty. Call of Duty is gone from PlayStation. That would be fucking crazy.
So if they do that, that is going to be pretty shitty. I mean, if they do that, that's going to be terrible. And they're probably going to do that. So part of me is like, that's not cool. But I also am like, they're making Game Pass more than just like something you can do. then something you should have.
They're
You should have Game
100% trying to make Game Pass such an incredible deal that you're going to have to get it. Now I want to
Which it already is.
For sure. It's a great value. I want to ease your nerves on Call of Duty though. So I don't think Call of Duty is going to go platform Microsoft, PC, Xbox exclusive. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that we have evidence of what their strategy will be going forward in Minecraft. They purchased Minecraft for some sum of whatever it was, a couple $2 billion or something. And of course, at the time, everybody was like, oh my God, Minecraft is going to be Xbox and PC only. Well, the next, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, who now Phil Spencer is, I think they've changed his title to CEO of gaming. He's earned it. More power to you, dude. He came out, or somebody came out and said, look, we're not taking Minecraft from you. Mm-hmm. However, it's going to be part of Game Pass for free. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Minecraft. And we're going to support it. We're going to push it. You can still play it on your PlayStation, on your Nintendo console. But it's part of Game Pass, and it's Microsoft. And I think Call of Duty is going to wind up being the same way. You don't have to take Call of Duty from PlayStation to make it a big deal, because you can say, yeah, you can pay $60 for Call of Duty on your PlayStation, or you can just pay $10 a month and have Call of Duty plus 100 other games you might want to play. Yeah. What an incredible value. And then you can have, like with Halo Infinite, you can have things like little perks for having it on Game Pass. Make it, like sprinkle in some extra cosmetics through like
I feel like
your
that
Game
would
Pass
be enticing for me, and I'm not like I would never play that game, but I'm like I feel like I would still be tempted if I weren't that game just for that.
And sticking with Call of Duty has slipped as of late, right? Warzone's obviously making money hand over fist, and Microsoft now owns Warzone. Which is fucking crazy. How much money does that game rake in every month?
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Shit tons of money. But Call of Duty has slipped in the last, what do you want to call it? Last, little bit of time. And, I think my mic, did my headphones just okay, the back, never mind, sorry. My head, I need new headphones. When I touch the wheel here, audio stops coming out of this ear, and you got to kind of wiggle it. And then it comes back. I need new headphones. What was I saying? They own Warzone. Call of Duty has slipped over the last few years. They're not where they used to be. And a lot of it, I think it's because they're annualized and they can't be delayed. It's coming and it's coming and it's coming. Well, look, before, if Call of Duty got delayed, that's a big hit against Activision-Blizzard, and it's a big hit against their revenue. And that's something that your shareholders are going to be mad about. Well, now they're shielded from that to some degree because they're just a cog in a much bigger wheel. They're just part of Microsoft. And Microsoft makes all their money through Azure, cloud, that kind of stuff. So this is, like, as crazy as this is, that this is a huge purchase, this is still Microsoft's side gig. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not their main thing. Their company is insane to
it's
be able
huge.
to do that. That $70 billion was like, that's like their hobby money.
They'll make that back. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's like their allowance or whatever,
It's a lot of money, but yeah, for sure. Like I think Brad Sams actually had another tweet about this. Yeah, here we go. This is perfect. As of November 2021, Microsoft had about $137 billion in cash. They could simply write a check for this and move on. And this won't close until June of 2023 at the earliest, which means they'll have more cash on hand by then already.
By that time anyways, yeah.
They can just do this.
So it's not like a super risk for them.
I mean, it is a risk, but it's not like it's going to bankrupt them if it fails.
Yeah.
They're going to make that back. It's like, So will Call of Duty's quality get better because they're under a bigger umbrella and it's not like they're the thing? Maybe. They might have more time. They might have more.
I hope so.
Would Phil Spencer be more likely to say, oh, the game's not coming together as well as we'd hope. Let's delay it. Let's push it back a little bit. Why do we need to do it every year? Let's slow. I mean, maybe I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like they more likely to say, let's slow our roll on this a little bit and let's do this correctly. Maybe.
I would hope so. Maybe it'll give them time to, like, maybe stop cheaters. Maybe focus a little bit more.
Good
Since
Lord.
they don't have to necessarily worry about all the overhead expenses.
Well, and this is, maybe there's some expertise Microsoft can share as far as their cloud gaming, and they understand servers, right? So maybe there's something they could figure out. I don't know. World of Warcraft. I've never in my life played World of Warcraft. I likely never will. My understanding is that it's very popular. My understanding is also that it's $15 a month to play WoW. What if, so like right now, Game Pass, I guess I should find out exactly what game. I know I'm paying $15 a month, but I don't know Xbox Game Pass. Let's look it up real quick and see exactly what it costs, because I don't actually know how. There's different versions of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, see all the plans. Let's do that. So there's Ultimate, which is $15 a month, and that gets you console, PC, and mobile, so streaming. And then there's just PC for $9 a month, no streaming, just console, $9 a month. What if they did a $20 a month one that included your World of Warcraft subscription?
Yeah.
How many people right now, are subscribed to World of Warcraft? I mean, like, it's got to be a few. Let's see. That the player count was around 4.88 million in 2020. So let's say it's 4.5 million people are subscribed to WoW, right? So could you convert all of them? Hey, give me $5 more a month to have your WoW and every game on Game Pass. We're talking about, them having 25 million people on Game Pass right now. Could they jump it to 30 million like that simply by doing that? I think they could.
Here's the thing too, like the people who play WoW, like they're extremely devoted to that game. Like people who play WoW have been playing it like forever.
And you're literally just going to say to them, keep doing what you're doing, but for $5 more, you can get all of these other games. Mm-hmm. All of these other games. Why would you not? Why would you say no to that? You're a PC gamer. Yeah. You're going to tell me that you don't want Diablo? You don't want Halo? You don't, on and on. I just open up Xbox app on your PC. There's a billion games on there already that are a lot of them are pretty good, and Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out, all the Fallout games, Starfield, all the Bethesda stuff, $5 a month extra for what you're already paying. Yeah, everyone will come over unless they just bungle this somehow and they just fuck it all up. They would be insane not to do it.
Let's hope they don't do that.
Honestly, I hope that they don't. So we've talked about WoW. We've talked about Call on Duty. There's another angle of this that needs to be talked about here. So I don't know how much you know about this, and I don't know a ton, right? So we'll be careful about what we say. Activision-Blizzard they're in some trouble currently. There's actually an ongoing lawsuit against them. And this lawsuit, the primary claim, is effectively claims of broad sexism and harassment, of effectively having just a really shit culture. This is another article for Windows Central that has some of the claims here. Staffed by only 20% women, few women ever reach top roles in the company. Women are steered into lower levels of the defendant's hierarchy and often had to work harder and longer to earn equal promotion and other opportunities. I believe there were also examples, so stuff on screen here, which I'll just leave on screen, examples of some distasteful objectification and inappropriate things being said and done. Just what sounds to me like a pretty typical, like, frat boy, toxic, men first, toxic kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, they're buying that too, right? And this has to get fixed. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, Microsoft has shareholders, people that they need to make happy, and they don't want this kind of thing on the books.
Yeah.
And so I have hope, maybe it's naive, but I have hope that Microsoft would, look, they get it. They understand. This, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never heard of anything like this going on with Microsoft, right? So my hope is that this gets taken care of. Now, I will say this, the former CEO, the former guy in charge, Bobby Kotick, is still there. He's not been ejected. He's now just reporting to Phil Spencer. And maybe that's something that needs to change, because it sounds like that guy kind of hasn't done enough to fix these issues. I don't know if he's been involved with them or not, because, again, I've not kept my finger on the pulse of this situation, because I'm not really a big Blizzard Activision fan. So it's not like if I was like a big WoW person, I might be like conflicted by, oh man, I want to be supporting this company and then looking into it. But I don't really play these games all that often.
Hopefully if they're going to be owned by Microsoft, maybe Microsoft's values will overreach and that can be fixed. I imagine right now they probably don't want to do too much to shake things up, and especially if there's a lawsuit going on, that has to play out in court. Everything has to be, there's a process to it, and then they can figure it out. But if there's hope for it getting better, then that's fucking great. I mean,
Absolutely.
Like you said, I haven't heard anything about Microsoft. I'm sure that every workplace has something going on, but I've heard less about Microsoft than most places. So,
and I would really hope, from all accounts, Phil Spencer, the guy that's in charge of this situation now, from all accounts, seems like a good guy. And I hope that this can be a new start. I've seen people, say maybe some mixed feelings about this. Like, we've had issues at Activision-Blizzard, and now they're just being bought up and like their property and so forth. I've seen a few people tweet things, and I get that. But my hope is that this is a fresh start, and that it could be a situation where, you got to think about it like this. Why is Activision-Blizzard allowing themselves to be purchased? Is this a situation where they see Call of Duty is slipping, WoW is slipping a little bit, now we have these lawsuits going on, and it allows some
disaster.
It allows some of these people to cash out and be like, okay, abandon ship. And then Microsoft can swoop in and say, okay, we're cleaning house, we're fixing this shit, and we're going to get things rolling again. And I'm hopeful that that's the case. And then what can happen is that if you fix the situation, these women that have been wronged can then continue doing a job that I hope that they enjoy, but in a much better atmosphere, and that just in general, the situation just improves. Hopefully.
Yeah, and maybe the company will become a little bit more professional and less immature with their behavior, because they're part of a very reputable company, because Microsoft is reputable.
Yeah. It's just such a, we can also talk a little bit about, as a feature of Game Pass. If you're, one of the tiers has mobile gaming, right? So you can stream games to your phone and play them that way. One of the things that popped into my head is that, imagine, how many people would want to play something like WoW on their phone streaming. And then something else popped into my head. And actually, this was from, let me find the tweet here where someone actually tweeted it at me, because I want to give them credit for their idea. Bear with me just a second. Here we go. Sam here said, I was thinking I've not played WoW for years, but it would work well on Game Pass on Duo. So the idea here would be that, when you're doing Xbox Game Pass on Surface Duo or Duo 2, you can have it set up so that the game is on one screen and your controls are on the other. WoW players always have these crazy fucking keyboards with, their macros and their moves and shit. I don't know how WoW works, but they've got stuff programmed on their keyboard. You could literally program like a row of those things on your screen, and be moving around and hitting those like I feel like it would work. Like I understand what WoW looks like and you're moving around and it's not like super duper like a shooter that's all reaction based and aiming. It's a bit more how can I put this without just sounding like I'm shitting on it? It's just a less precise, it's a different kind of skill set, right? It's more strategy. And I feel like you could do it on there. So then you've got, at that point, Duo becomes the like de facto mobile WoW console, which I think is a selling point. Like, are there people out there that if that happens and it works well, that would buy a original Surface Duo for $400 to play WoW on it on the go? Yeah, absolutely there are. I don't know how many, but there are definitely people that would do it.
I just think it's really cool that, that they're going for it. Like, we were kind of suspecting that they were gonna try and take the gaming world by the reins, but now it's like super duper obvious.
And how crazy is it that them buying Bethesda for $7.5 billion
is not the craziest thing that they were gonna do? That
was just them dipping a toe in the water to see how it would work.
I wish we had someone like on here now that like played any of these games that we could like ask their opinions about it, because I know like it's gonna matter for them.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this for sure. I played Overwatch back in the day, and it was fun. Some of the new Diablo games, we played, I think, Diablo 3. And I think they are making a new Diablo. That's one we'll try. I haven't played Call of Duty lately, but I have a lot in the past. StarCraft is one that's also, like, wildly popular. It's not as popular as it used to be, but, like, it's still a pretty major game. Like,
and then Candy Crush. I mean, listen, Candy Crush. I've played it once in my life, but like that game is crazy popular.
And that's also actually
very weird. It's weird that they grabbed that one too.
That's actually a really great point too, because that gives Microsoft something it has literally not had, and that is a foothold in true mobile gaming. They have Candy Crush. They have one of let me.
Candy Crush might be the most popular mobile game like ever.
It might still be. Like, let's go to the top charts here and see. Is it still up towards the top? It's a free game, right?
It's free, but there's I think you can make purchases in the game. Like to like if you want to
for sure
times or something. So otherwise I don't know how they would have profited.
Yeah, I don't see where it's ranked, but it's got over 1 billion downloads, so there's that. That sounds like that's pretty popular.
Yeah, now I don't think that we're gonna be pulling any I don't want this to sound mean either, but like Candy Crush is such a like your mom or your grandma plays or whatever, like I don't think we're gonna be pulling in those people, but if we did, how cool would that be? But
like I mean, are you gonna see Candy Crush in Game Pass to play on your PC? Maybe, but I mean, you're definitely still gonna see it in the Play Store, and that's still 1 billion downloads that now that revenue is gonna funnel back into Microsoft. I'm gonna look now at, this is just BattleNet. This is the games we're talking about. So we're talking about Warzone. We're talking about Call of Duty franchise proper, World of Warcraft. We're talking about Diablo. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there is a Diablo game coming. Overwatch, StarCraft. Heroes of the Storm is a MOBA that hasn't been updated in a while, I don't believe, but that was very popular for a time as well. How about Crash Bandicoot? Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot. That's pretty weird. Yeah. Yeah, Activision owns that.
Was that not a Sony property?
Well, I don't know if Sony ever properly owned Crash.
Okay.
I think it was always Activision. I may be wrong about that, but they do own it now.
That's amazing.
And I mean, it's like some people have said, hey, that's not a ton of games. And it's like, no, it's not a ton of games, but each of these games are, I didn't mention Hearthstone. Each of these games are freaking heavyweights. Like, Call of Duty has slipped. Call of Duty is still huge. It's like, it's not what it used to be. Is it the biggest shooter? Is it still the biggest shooter on Earth? It is? Okay.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Most popular one.
Not what WoW used to be. Is it still the biggest MMORPG? Probably. Hearthstone is as far as I know, Hearthstone's still quite popular. That's a game with a lot of microtransactions too. I mean, just because it's like when Anderson Silva in the UFC, was 15% worse than he used to be, and he's still better than 95% of fighters. You know what I mean? It's like he slipped, but he's still the GOAT. These games are still massive, massive games, and for Microsoft to now own all of them it's no small thing for sure.
So I have one last question, and I'm hoping I can word it correctly. If not, just cut it out. But so like when we were talking about when Game Pass first came out, we were worried about some of the smaller games or indie games going on there and not really being able to make any money, or not understanding. I don't understand the financials of it. Like, how can you just put a game on a platform that's essentially free for people if they're only paying $15 a month? What do they get out of it? I wonder if owning these larger games is going to help like some of those people too. Like, where are they getting their profit from?
Yeah,
is it from people playing the game, or is it just from the company as a whole?
So I can't say like 100% for sure how their revenue sharing works, but when you look at, let me see if I can just open up the Xbox app here and I'll be able to kind of talk over this. When you look at Game Pass, right, and you look at any of these games, okay, so we're looking at Spelunky. Okay, so Microsoft doesn't own Spelunky, yet their Spelunky is on Game Pass. It exists on there for you to be able to download and play. How does that happen? Microsoft cuts a deal with that developer, that publisher, and says, maybe it's based on time played. For every 1,000 hours played, we'll give you X amount of money to put your game on Game Pass. It's something like that. It's some way to share revenue, and they're buying the rights to putting that game on their platform. Mm-hmm. So now, when it's a game like let's look at Skyrim, okay, they own that now. So they've made their investment, they've made their purchase.
Now their money is going to roll in, and then Bethesda, because it's owned by Microsoft, doesn't have to worry about it.
Correct. It's theirs. So in that regard, that's why you have these purchases being made, but you also do have, a situation where, I'll give you a great example. I'm wearing a Rocket League shirt. Okay, so on the PlayStation, if you remember, this is still a thing, I believe, with PlayStation Plus, they'd give away, I think it was like 2 games a month if you had PlayStation Plus. Well, one of the first PlayStation Plus free games was Rocket League.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of confusion, and a lot of these developers early on were like, I don't want to be a PS Plus free game because everyone's going to download it for free and I'm going to miss out on potential sales. Rocket League was a success because what happened was everyone for that month downloaded it, but not everybody, but a bunch of people did, and Sony paid them. There's some way they worked that out in a contract, per download, per playtime, whatever. But then it left PlayStation Plus, and then a bunch of people are like, man, this is a great game. Did you download it? No, I missed it. I guess I got to go buy it now. And it's gone, and it's sold ever since. The game is still going. Game Pass is slightly different from that because a lot of these games just stay on Game Pass for long periods of time, but Microsoft is paying them to be on there. But Microsoft doesn't want to be paying these companies on and on and on and on and on to be on Game Pass. They'd rather just buy a fucking studio and be like, we're done. And then you think about all the studios that they own.
Yeah.
And do they now have a roster of studios and titles and games that now rivals Nintendo and Sony? Mm-hmm. Kinda.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because for the longest time, what did Microsoft have? Forza, Gears, Halo.
It was kind of sparse.
Fable?
Yeah, they didn't
kind
have that
of.
much. Yeah.
Well, now they've got all the things I just mentioned. Plus, they have Elder Scrolls, they have Fallout, they have WoW, they have Call of Duty. Like they've caught up now through.
They've got these legacy companies.
Yeah, through sheer force of purchase, they've just bought it. They've just bought it all.
It's Daddy Warbucks. He's like.
Your friends are making fun of you for not having as many game studios? Here's $70 billion to shut them up. Okay, thanks, Dad. Like, that's what they did. Yeah. But here's the great thing about this, though. This is not something to be mad about. To be like, oh, Microsoft's just buying up studios. Good. The more games in Game Pass, the better for you. Mm-hmm. If you're a PlayStation owner, you're going to miss Elder Scrolls 6 probably. And that sucks a little bit for sure. Sorry. But if you're an Xbox or a PC owner, this just means that Game Pass is getting better and better and better. And something that was already...
Go ahead.
So I was going to say something that was already the best value in gaming is continuing to grow exponentially.
And it's also, what I was going to say is it's not that hard to get in on it.
It's really not. I mean, if you have a phone, you can stream it if you really are desperate.
I guess you do have to have money, but if you can afford...
How about this, though? This is something that they've added lately. In the Xbox app now, on your PC, game streaming is now part of PC as well. You have to use a controller. But if you're a PlayStation owner, you could just get Game Pass for streaming, get any old computer that has a decent internet connection, hook up a controller to it, and stream the fucking game and play it. Mm-hmm. So it's not as good as having it on your PlayStation, but it's so accessible. Like, do you have the internet? Then you could probably do this.
And honestly, it ends up, I was going to say, you have to be able to afford, $5 to $15 a month or $20 if they increase the price. But it's also going to be so, it's still so much better as far as value because most people are, they're going to wait to buy the $60 game.
And get one game.
That's something they can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's $20 and you get all these stinking games. And you don't have to just have the game and pay for the internet, multiplayer options.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've had to do that.
It's all rolled together now.
It's all one.
Yep.
And it's awesome.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely crazy stuff. I think we've covered it about as well as we possibly could. I'm sure there's things that we missed. Definitely continue the conversation down there in those comments. I will be down there responding and answering questions as usual. Jesse, thanks for joining me for this once a year episode of Podcast Revive. Maybe we'll do more of these. I don't know. Let me know if you would care to see more discussions like this in this format, and I will take that to heart. Guys, I will see you on the next video, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.